a small 100-acre farm with 20 head of cattle into a 2,000-acre, 200-head, million-dollar dairy operation?
Hard work. No language for that. Hard work. And a lot of determination as well.
Hard work and determination was all Dutch immigrant Bill Schouten knew when he arrived in North Gore 40 years ago. It was all he needed to know.
I arrived here in '52 with my good wife and 4 little kids and no money. Worked out in the farm for a while, and then I bought a 100-acre farm with 50 head of cattle and an old W4 truck and a team of horses and a few clockheads. And that has been grown from there I've been.
Despite hardships and a tragic farming accident in '68 in which Bill lost his hand, he continued to impress upon his sons, Ed, John, and Rick, never to give up on a goal.
The old saying was, the Lord looks after them that looks after themselves first. And that goes today yet. If you do a little bit, you want something, don't count on everybody else to do it for you.
Yes, I'd say it was a lot of work in the beginning. We were forever changing a facility or adding on or picking up more. It seemed like there weren't too many dull moments.
For years, running the farm meant 80-hour work weeks, few holidays, and summers spent in the fields. And though the Schoutens used the innovative bucket milker, milking the cows was a full-time job in itself.
The vacuum works, there's rubber inflation inside here, and as the vacuum contracts, it's just squeezing just like you would with your hand. And that's how the cow gets milked. And each one of these has one in it, rubber.
That's the way you used to do it.
That's the way we used to do it. The units today are, the principle is still the same as far as the vacuum and this part of the milker is still basically the same today. That hasn't changed a whole lot.
What has changed is the length of time it takes to milk the cows, the manpower needed, and production per cow. They're changes that have placed the Schouten farm at the forefront of the Canadian dairy industry. It began 2 years ago with the building of this cattle palace and a state-of-the-art milking parlor.
The barn is 110 feet wide by 216 feet long. The part of the barn that we're in right now is the freestall part of the barn houses the cattle year-round. The cattle never go outside, but they're loose at all times. They're never tied. They walk on what we call slatted floors, which allow the manure to drop through down to the lower level of the barn. There's a 10-foot basement under the entire barn that houses the manure for 8 months or so. And at that time, it's pumped out and irrigated straight onto our farmland.
It's difficult to say who's pampered more here, the Schoutens or their livestock. For the comfort of the cattle, the barn is thermostatically controlled for just the right temperature year-round. And when they feel like a good back scratch or cleaning, bristly brooms hang in waiting. For Bill and the boys, feeding the animals is a breeze. A daily tractor sweep down the center of the barn does the trick. But here's the clincher. No more going to the cows to milk them. At this new age operation, they come when called. Did we say these ladies are spoiled? Well, these Holsteins are milked to Mozart.
When the cows come into the parlor, they walk through this archway here. There's an antenna in the arch. And the little yellow computer chips on the cows, they're just passive chips. There's no batteries in them or anything. This will power up the passive chip and identify the number that's on the cow that we correspond with. And that will put the number up here on these detachers. Whatever the cow number is, when you start milking her, her production will show up. We can find out how long it took to milk her, how many minutes. When the milker comes off, it'll show the deviation from her last milking at that time of day, whether she was up 5% or down 5% or whatever. We can also talk back to the main computer terminal from in here. The operator can find out anything about the cow just by punching some short codes into this keypad.
The cows are milked 3 times a day now, and they know instinctively to saunter backside out into the units. And in this $1 million setup, cleanliness is next to godliness. Each udder is sprayed down before the vacuum cups are attached. The computer, the milking machine, and the Holsteins do the rest, leaving a 3rd-generation Schouten free to prep the other row of cows. Then he alternates back and forth. Chris alone can milk 100 cows an hour, each producing about 29 liters of milk a day, which collects into this 4,000-gallon stainless steel tank. When all of the milk has been extracted, the machine automatically releases the cups. The gates open, and the cows are directed back to the barn. The Schouten farm is considered to be the most state-of-the-art dairy operation in eastern Canada, an agricultural showplace that has attracted visitors from all around the world, including Mikhail Gorbachev and his ambassadors several years ago.
They couldn't believe that one family could own such an operation. You know, the state would own something like that back home.
It's an operation that has increased its production by 25%, cut its manpower by 2/3, and reduced its work week to 40 hours. All under the direction of a progressive Dutchman who believes to stay ahead in any business, you can't look back.
If you don't keep going, it's just like an old friend of mine said one time, don't ever stop, because then you run backwards. Keep going, going, going.